Unfortunately, there was a commissioner that forced the vote when they didn't have the votes to pass it, and it was unfortunate.
Do you mind telling us who that commissioner was?
Well, it was Beverly.
Okay.
Beverly Clark.
What's up, everybody? You watch On Air with Nick Driver podcast here on YouTube and Facebook. Guys, please like, comment, subscribe to this channel. Ring that notification bell, and you'll be notified of all my upcoming video releases. Guys, we have a very special guest today, and in collaboration with Z-Town Media, we are putting together this podcast series, introducing everyone in Zebulon here to all your mayoral and commissioner candidates. I want to give a big shout out to George Roa as well for helping me film these, and also Robert Terry. Thank you guys, as well as Brittany Sandiford. Guys, without further ado, let's get into it. Mayoral candidate Shannon Baxter, who is currently a serving commissioner here in Zebulon. What's up, everybody? You watch your On Air with Nick Driver podcast here on YouTube and Facebook. We have got a great guest today. We've got Commissioner Shannon Baxter. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Before we start, I want to say you are the me and you have talked the most on my podcast out of everyone.
Yeah, we have.
And I think that's awesome. So
I love coming on and talking about Zebulon. I mean, thank you for the opportunity to be able to do that. It's wonderful to be able to reach more people and let them know like what's going on in town. So I appreciate that.
Absolutely. So for people here in Zebulon who might not know you, who is Shannon Baxter?
Well, I am a commissioner in town, and I've been a commissioner for the past almost 6 years. And prior to that, I was on the planning board. I have been here for 18 years now, and I moved here 2007, and then the housing market crashed.
Yeah. And
I've seen a lot of different iterations of Zebulon in the past 18 years. So I take my job as a commissioner extremely seriously because I love this town and I'm looking forward to like seeing it grow and go in the right direction. But a little bit more about me. I have a husband, 2 wonderful children, lots of hummingbirds at my feeder right now.
That's what's up.
I'm a beekeeper. I'm a cave diver. That's me.
So a lot of people know that you're a beekeeper. How did you get into that?
By accident, actually.
You like just, yo, what's up? You fell on a bee or something?
No, but once upon a time, many years ago, there were a lot of people that were doing geocaching.
Okay, what's that?
That is where you use a GPS unit and you follow clues and you reach different spots, and they'll have boxes or little things that have trinkets, and then you sign a log.
Okay.
And for me, it was wonderful to do with the girls because we visited parts of North Carolina that we never would have seen otherwise. And so it's just kind of like a little adventure quest. And I had a geocache in my yard.
Okay. And
because of that, I met the president of the 5-County Beekeepers Association one day.
Okay.
And he said, we meet right across the street. Why don't you come to one of the meetings? And having a background in entomology and degree in biology, I was like, yeah, that sounds like fun. And so, because I had little kids, that Tuesday rolled around and the socks weren't right, the shoes weren't fitting, the girls, the dresses that they had on weren't the right ones. So we wound up being late. And that's just what happens when you've got little kids.
Yeah.
And when we rolled in, the person that was at the door said, do you want to buy a raffle ticket? And I was just flustered about being late. I was like, sure, how much? She was like, 3 for $5. I was like, here's $5. Then we scampered to the back and...
Scamper. I hadn't heard that word in a while. That's good. I like that word.
And we took our seats, and the whole meeting was about ways that your hives could die and the things that can happen that you've got to be really, really careful about. And so I was taking really big notes in the beginning, and then towards the end, I was writing things like, nope, never going to do this. This sounds hard. This sounds terrible. And at the very end of the meeting, they asked my oldest, who was, I don't know, 3 or 4 at the time, to come and draw names for the raffle. And she would pick one out, turn it over. She couldn't really read yet. You look at it, she'd put it back in, pick another one out. And I was like, oh my gosh, just pick a ticket. Well, it was ours. Right. She picked ours. And so we went home with a hive and bees that night. And I was like, I guess I'm a beekeeper. All these notes like, no, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And from that point, it was like the universe was just directing us, because we went back the next month because I figured I have bees now. I should probably learn about bees.
Yeah. It's probably a good thing.
Yeah. And we won another hive. Yeah. And it just kept, kind of moving in that direction. And, now I think right now we've got 40 hives.
Wow.
And sometimes we have as many as 70.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means, but I like it. As a second-term town commissioner, what accomplishments are you most proud of?
Okay, there's so much that has happened in the past 6 years. It's hard to pinpoint just one thing. Okay. But, getting our documents in order was huge for the town, protecting us, making sure that we're growing in the right way. So perhaps getting the Unified Development Ordinance, the Transportation and Land Use Plan, our utility allocation policy, getting those documents in line was really, really big. And then for me, being an environmentalist and, caring about, protecting our species, creating the sustainability board was something that I was really excited about. And we're members now of Bee City USA, which means that we're just going to be very cognizant about how we treat our public areas, and we're going to promote and protect pollinators.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Can you share a project you championed as commissioner that exemplifies your leadership approach?
Well, really, I think presenting and being the champion for Bee City USA and the Sustainability Board is something that I'm super proud of. Presenting, being able to give good reasons and help people to understand why this is going to be really great for Zebulon and be a really wonderful thing moving forward into the future. Sure. So I think that getting all the commissioners on board, locking down a unanimous vote and moving forward with that has been one of the ways that I've, I guess, a good example of my leadership style.
Sure. And you were mentioning right there, locking down a unanimous vote.
Yeah.
I do want to touch on some stuff. I don't want to stay on these topics too long because I want to really dig into what, your campaign's about. But you guys recently had a vote where there was a split vote when it came to the temporary commissioner that would be there. Jessica mentioned to us that you guys did not deliberate about that.
Right.
When it came to the 2 versus 2.
Right.
What's your take on that?
Well, I had already expressed to the commissioners my feelings about supporting and endorsing anyone that was going to be throwing their name in the hat for the election. Okay. I just thought that we needed to not be, I guess, somewhat endorsing someone that will really just be on the board for a few months. So they knew that ahead of time. And two commissioners felt very passionately about their choice. I didn't agree, and that's okay, because sometimes democracy is messy.
Yeah.
And sometimes the votes are split, and it will give us an opportunity to maybe enter into more discussion at our work session when this topic's going to swing back around.
Well, one thing that people are really pushing during this entire, I guess, campaign season is transparency.
Yeah.
And you guys are currently in power, So one thing I would ask is, so there was no deliberation when it came to that particular topic, which is fine,
Yeah.
But the thing I would say is, did you read Milton's application?
I read everyone's application.
Okay.
Yep.
So I guess my question would be, why would two of the commissioners really go with that, considering I don't want to beat up on a citizen. I definitely don't want, but why do you think that they were so into that? Like that particular candidate, and you were not. But why? Why? Because when I look at the application online, there's all these different spelling errors. What's going on there?
I can't speak to spelling errors, and they occur. I am looking for someone that can quickly understand what we're doing, learn about the decisions that we have coming to us, and be prepared to make them in short order. I think that there were several excellent candidates. But I voted, my vote went for one of the candidates that I thought would really do a fantastic job.
I think she was a great.
Yeah. And so as far as what the other commissioners, why they chose that candidate, I'm not sure. That's really a question for them. Sometimes politics is politics. I don't know why, but I feel very good about my votes. And I always do. I stand on my votes. My record, I feel very, very good about.
Understand. I guess one thing that people wanted me to ask you was if you guys didn't deliberate with that particular topic, are you guys deliberating when it comes to most of the big topics here in Zebulon? Like, considering that wasn't deliberated on at all.
Right. We do deliberate. Okay. A lot of times staff gives us a whole bunch of information before our meeting, and that's really so that we are as educated as possible on subjects before we sit down to make a vote, to vote. Okay. So sometimes we deliberate, and sometimes we don't. In that instance, for the candidates, it seemed like deliberation was not going to be productive.
Okay. Now, what does that mean? Like when you say deliberation is not going to be productive.
Yeah.
Now, what does that mean? Because to me, I'm looking at it and I'm going, okay, you guys are the commissioners.
Yes.
Okay, you guys should be able to deliberate, right?
Yes.
So what does that mean?
Well, I think that having that split vote and moving it to the work session kind of gives us all time to reevaluate and make sure that the candidate that we were endorsing is truly the correct fit for Zebulon.
Okay.
And I don't think that there was going to be a lot of reflection just in the way that the votes went that night. But I feel so much more confident about the work session coming up.
Okay.
And sometimes it's just the way it happens. And split votes aren't bad. Sometimes, it just means that the wheels turn a little bit slower.
I understand. So to switch gears here a little bit, if you were the mayor here in Zebulon, what is your vision for the future of Zebulon?
Oh, gosh.
There's definitely going to be a parade. Because me and you, you came on the podcast.
We are going to have so many parades. No.
Right on.
It's the every other Friday parade.
That's what's up.
I do see us crafting a lot more really special Zebulon events that bring the whole community together.
Can you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah. So one of the things that I'm really focused on, one of my priorities, is youth engagement, youth services. We are in desperate need of a new youth center. The Boys and Girls Club is amazing, but we need more.
Right.
And so more events and more opportunities to gather, for me, means engaging the entire community. Now, I would like to see more small musical events, not, having still things like Rock the Block, but then doing, like we used to have a long time ago when I first moved to town, at Whitley Park, there's like this little, cute little covered area, and bands would set up and play, and it was lovely. I would love to see more of that. We have some great things coming with the master plan for Little River Park. And that's going to provide a lot of opportunities for us to get together as a community and engage. We're going to have a small amphitheater there. It's going to be really cool. So that's part of my vision for Zebulon. Definitely creating more prosperity, which means expanding our economic development right now. We have some excellent staff right now. And our economic developer is amazing. Allowing her to expand her reach and get out and do more. I think bringing more investment and more different types of jobs and just economic opportunity all around is going to make Zebulon more prosperous.
Absolutely. So I want to ask you this. I want to get your take on this.
Sure.
Zebulon South, Deacon Development.
Okay, yeah.
We got to talk about it.
I finally can kind of talk about it.
Can you talk about it?
Yeah.
Okay. Give us your rundown from your perspective.
From my perspective,
do you feel like you guys made a little bit of a mistake on it, or do you feel like you handled everything great?
I think that we could have, after the vote, even though our deliberation was technically considered the explanation for our vote, we could have, I think, been a little clearer. But do I stand behind my vote? I do. The project wasn't ready.
Okay.
And
now, when you say the project wasn't ready, what do you mean by that? What was not ready about it?
Well, for me, there were still some outstanding concerns.
What would be an outstanding concern?
The number of affordable houses,
Okay.
The ability for investors to come in and buy large swaths of homes and then turn them into rentals, because having out-of-town owners is sometimes problematic. And so when it comes to developing a rental community, I think that we have to be a little bit more intentional. And so that's one of the things that we needed to work on. We had discussed and not come to a resolution with some walkability aspects of the project. So it was almost there. Unfortunately, there was a commissioner that forced the vote when they didn't have the votes to pass it, and it was unfortunate.
Do you mind telling us who that commissioner was?
Well, it was Beverly.
Okay.
Beverly Clark.
Okay.
And I think that, unfortunately, forcing that vote led to a lot of a situation that could have been avoided if we'd just been able to discuss more and come to a better agreement. Because it was a legislative process, meaning that the commissioners, ultimately, we get to make the decision.
Right.
It's not on staff. It's not on the developer. It's on the commissioners to decide if it's going to be best for our community. And at that point, it was almost, but it wasn't exactly. Now I feel very confident about it. And what I love about the resolution, if they had just waited and then reapplied after the waiting period, it would have cost them a lot less money. The lawsuit was unfortunate. But for the town, we wound up not paying any lawyer fees,
Okay.
which I know that was a concern for some citizens, but we didn't pay any fees.
Well, I want to ask you something.
Sure.
And you can definitely clear this up for everybody that's asking me this.
Yeah.
When you guys came to an agreement,
Sure.
where does that money come from? Is that taxpayer money?
So the town has representation
Okay.
through the League of Municipalities. That
Okay.
means that their lawyers represented us.
Okay.
Wonderful. So the town wasn't out any money.
Okay. So where does that money come from, though?
What money? Well, the money that was spent during the lawsuit, ultimately, the plaintiff had to pay for those costs. And then on top of it, we also negotiated $250,000 to complete more walkability in our community.
Okay.
And so, we wound up with something really close to what we were looking for.
So you guys didn't really come out of pocket at all?
No.
Okay.
And that was never anything that I was worried about. But when you're in the middle of litigation, you can't really talk about it.
Absolutely.
And so,
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, sometimes when we have things that we're discussing in closed session, or especially with that lawsuit, people can say whatever outlandish thing they can say.
Sure.
Oh, the town's going to wind up paying $453,000 or whatever. But I can't comment on it.
Okay.
And so, as far as transparency goes, I know that that's kind of a sticky wicket, but
What's a sticky wicket?
it's like a sticking point.
Did you just make that up?
No.
Okay, it sounds pretty good.
All right, well then, yeah, I made it up.
What is your three major? What's the three biggest things that people in Zebulon here care about, in your opinion?
In my opinion, I think they care about safety.
Okay.
I care about safety too.
Absolutely.
Making sure that we have the staff that we need, and making sure that we have the equipment, the locations, all very, very important. As our town grows and expands, we need more police officers, we need more fire and EMS, because it takes a little bit longer to get to where we need to go, because the service area is larger. So even though I'm so excited and I can't wait to break ground on the new fire station, and stay tuned, because I'd love to come back on and talk about the fire station right before we break ground.
I'd love for you to do that. So,
but we're also already thinking about Fire Station 2 and Fire Station 3, because there is a growing need and we want to make sure that the citizens are protected. We also work to put in police substations, and we have a couple of them, but we need more. And making sure that we are appropriately staffed, absolutely one of my priorities, because I think it's important for the people of Zebulon.
okay.
And then I think youth services is another thing that people care about. I hear about it all the time, that there aren't enough things for our youths to do. And having two youths myself, I agree. We are thinking about that.
Okay.
Working with Parks and Rec to be able to create something special. I think that this town needs a youth center, and we need a senior center, because when I moved here and we were 4,500 citizens, the old armory, which is now our community center, was so adequate. It was wonderful. But now that we are almost at 14,000, we've outgrown that space. And so we are actively looking for ways that we can create space for our youths and try to develop programming that is meaningful for them. Because, and that's another thing that I'm passionate about, is there has been talk about a mayor's youth council. It hasn't really come to fruition. I will make that happen.
Okay.
Because we need input about how the children in our community want to recreate, how they want to spend their time, what their interests are. Because I don't know, if it were up to me, every kid would have a field hockey stick in their hand and they'd be running around in a field.
Right.
But, times have changed. And so getting the youth involved and how the town supports them is really important.
Right.
And then I think the third thing absolutely is our infrastructure, our traffic infrastructure, our stormwater infrastructure. We are constantly working on that.
Do we have stormwater infrastructure?
Oh, yeah, we do. And we are constantly working on it, evaluating it. The state actually comes in and makes sure that we are moving forward with updating the stormwater all the time. It really is a very important part, especially, like piece of the puzzle as we grow and there is more asphalt and hard surfaces.
Sure.
We need to make sure that the water has some place to run off. Certainly we all know that when it rains hard in Zebulon, there are a few places where there are
the place like right across from Walgreens.
Yeah.
Always floods.
I know.
That's why I was asking, do we have...
Yeah, I mean, you see those drains and sometimes they're clogged, and so we need to stay on top of like making sure that they're cleaned out. And that's definitely one part of it. But the other part, the transportation part, is unfortunately the bond failed, and I think it was because folks didn't understand, and I will take a little bit of a lump on behalf of the town for that, even though it wasn't me who hired the PR firm. I think that we definitely could have gotten the information out better, because there was a lot of misinformation, and unfortunately it came from just a few people.
Yeah.
And I think that it turned the tide on a very, very important resource, because municipal bonds are the cheapest way for us to borrow money. We still have to get all of these projects done, and now it's just more difficult, and it's going to wind up costing the taxpayers more to get the improvements accomplished. But what I work very hard on is consistently talking to developers and investors about the improvements that they can make in our transportation infrastructure that will help alleviate problems. And I'm always pushing for alleviate more than just what their development is going to bring in. Like, let's make it better all around.
Sure.
And the Pierce's Road project, they went above and beyond what the traffic impact analysis, we call it a TIA, what that required. And they're going to do some significant improvements. And being able to kind of talk and work through those, like the minutia of, a project ahead of time really makes a big difference. And we will get the traffic situation figured out. I was on Campo for many years. That's the Capital Area Metropolitan Planning Organization. And I am currently I'm a member of the Central Pines Regional Council of Government. And having that knowledge is very, very helpful when it comes to working with our transportation, our traffic issues. So that's the third thing that I believe everyone cares about. and I care about too.
Do you feel like you guys are being successful with your outreach on social media, with your meetings coming up and things like that?
Well,
do you feel like you guys could improve on that, or do you feel like you're doing good?
I think that there's always room for improvement.
Okay.
And, that's with everything in life.
Sure.
You can always strive to do a little bit better. Now, do I think that we're doing a bad job? We do put the information out there. And
well, a big criticism from people, and I'm just going off of what I read online and things like that,
sure.
and things that people send me is sometimes people feel like you guys don't put things out maybe far enough in advance. What do you think about that?
I think...
Is that a bad thing? Or
no, but
okay.
Usually when the public finds out is a lot of time when I'm finding out. I mean, sometimes when there's a called meeting, I'll find out maybe an hour before they put it out to the public, because sometimes we have to have meetings with very short notice. Regular board meetings, it's on the website, it is on the social media accounts. So it's really important for folks that want to stay tuned and stay involved to make sure that they're subscribed to those social media accounts for the town, and not just rely on it popping up on this, Zebulon for Zebulon. Don't be reliant on it getting posted to the community pages.
Okay.
I mean, people do have to be a little bit proactive about participating.
Sure.
We do. I think people talk about transparency a lot, and I understand it's a buzzword. However, I feel like we are very transparent. We got behind on minutes for a while. That's because we had someone that was working as the clerk and as HR, and so they were stretched very thin. Okay. And when we had a lot of meetings and we didn't have the software, we now have the software that helps translate the minutes, and so the minutes are getting done super fast now.
Okay.
But that was never like us trying to obfuscate the what was going on. It was just that we needed to catch up, and
Sure.
we needed to hire more people, and so we have.
Sure.
As far as documents go, there's always a way to access our documents. A lot of times people, say, where's the money going? Where's the money going?
Right.
And to that, I like to say, it's all in the budget, because it is. That is our document of, like ins and outs, checks and balances. Our budget is what we pass that guides us through the rest of the year with how we spend money.
Okay.
And so when some people say, oh, they're not being transparent, maybe they just don't know how to access the information because it's out there.
Okay, that's fair. Let's switch gears here a minute. The Gilbert Todd situation.
Okay.
I would like to know your take on that, because that's some pretty heavy allegations to get on there and say, yo, this is, the administration's corrupt. And that's your group, like currently. How do you respond to that? And do you feel like that's fair or not?
What's not fair?
Him saying that you guys are
Of course,
corrupt.
that's not fair. I mean, the truth is what's fair. The truth is what's fair. And unfortunately, Gilbert and his family are lovely.
Sure.
My girls played softball with their girls for many years. I have considered their family part of my family.
Sure.
And so how this has all kind of gone down is a little bit heartbreaking, especially with accusations.
I feel like, and with all due respect,
Sure.
I feel like you're speaking a little bit more like in a broader scope. What is your take on the actual situation that happened with that? as opposed to, we know you care about his family.
Yeah, no.
100%. But what is your take on the situation that happened?
Okay, so I went into, and I've always gone into, looking at manager candidates. I look for people that are highly qualified,
right,
very experienced, have the correct personality to get the job done, and are very knowledgeable about all of the regional things that we have going on.
Sure.
And so when it came to, I did not vote to appoint Gilbert as manager.
Right.
And I feel very good about that decision.
Okay.
As far as his accusations that we
Are corrupt
and tried to make him do things that he, it's just not true.
Okay.
And it's so unfortunate because it's really made people upset, and there's not anything to be upset about. I never asked anyone to fire anyone.
Okay.
It is my belief that nobody else on the board did either.
Okay.
And certainly whenever we gathered as a group in closed session, I feel like we definitely upheld, we were ethical.
Okay.
And so it's so unfortunate. And I think that perhaps his candidacy is running off of some emotion surrounding what happened. But it's just not true. Okay. Unfortunately, he has made statements that aren't true.
Right.
And that's on him.
Okay, I understand. Your name is not the only one that's going to be on the ballot.
What? What?
Yeah. That's awesome. How are you different than every other candidate for mayor?
Well, I've got a ton of experience. I have been through so much programming and training. I have sat on so many different boards and councils. Right now, I'm on the National Small Cities Council, the National Women in Municipal Government. I'm the president of the North Carolina Women in Municipal Government Organization.
Tell us a little bit about that if you don't mind.
I will in just a moment.
Absolutely.
But I am on the Central Pines Regional Council of Government. I was on Campo. I am an alum of the ALC program, the Advanced Leadership Program that is run through the School of Government right here in town. I sit on the board of the CAC, which is run out of the Eastern Regional Center. So I have the experience, I have the drive. I love talking about Zebulon. We are an awesome town.
Yeah. We
are fantastic. I love where we are. We are in such an exciting place right now. Oh, the opportunity that we have is just phenomenal. And so I think that I'll be the best spokesperson to go out and talk to people locally, regionally, at the state level, certainly at the federal level. I've already done that. I meet with Deborah Ross's office. I've gone to DC to advocate for Zebulon. And so I just think that all of those things kind of compounded would make me an excellent mayor. As far as the North Carolina Women in Municipal Government,
right.
That is an organization that is statewide.
Okay.
And it includes people from the staff level in municipal government as well as electeds. And of course it's women, but men can certainly join as well, because if you have women on your council, if you've got women working for you on staff, it's important for you to understand what the challenges are that they face and how to be, more supportive.
Okay.
We talk about a lot of really cool things with Womenage, and a lot of it is what can we do to help support people in our communities, and not just women in our communities, but how can we advocate better? What kind of programming would work best? How do we engage our seniors?
Sure.
What can we do for female high school students that might need sanitary products? We talk about things, and then there's a special bond, and we're able to talk about, all of the things that we have in common across the state in our different municipalities, our challenges, and we always come out better for it. So it's a fantastic organization, and I'm so honored to be a part of it.
Absolutely. Shannon, it's been a pleasure talking to you. And good luck with your mayoral race here.
Thank you.
And thank you for taking the time to come on with us today.
Sure. We can talk for 2.5 hours more about Zebulon if you want.
Sure, man.
I got.
She's right, man.
I got plenty. But you know what? At some point, let's talk some more. Because,
Absolutely. Thank you again.
Please, everyone, check out my website. That has a lot of my platform. It has my accomplishments. It has my vision. It's votebaxter.com, and we are just really excited about this race.